So this intelligence on tap, this AI, it's not just about doing the same stuff a bit faster. It's about changing how we work.
That's the core idea. The report suggests we're moving from, doing tasks to managing agents that do the tasks. It's a shift like the web or mobile eras. Our roles changed then, they're changing again now.
From doing to managing.
Welcome to another episode of the Enterprise Thought Leadership Podcast. I'm Tim Bond, founder of techpros.io. We bring you the latest insights from business and technology leaders to help you shape your organization's future and compete in an era of constant change. Welcome to episode 64. It's a shorter episode as I'm sharing a 16-minute audio of a recent report produced by Microsoft called The Year the Frontier Firm is Born. Now, like the AI 2027 report, which featured in episode 61, I also uploaded this report to Google's Notebook LM and created another audio podcast. Now, the report discusses how AI and AI agents are reshaping organizational structures, combining human guidance with machine intelligence to increase productivity. The research follows surveys with over 31,000 workers across 31 countries and reveals that we are entering a new phase where intelligence is becoming available on tap, abundant, affordable, and available on demand. This is creating what Microsoft calls frontier firms, which are organizations structured around on-demand intelligence and powered by hybrid teams of humans and AI agents. The report outlines three phases of this transformation. Number one, AI as an assistant, helping people work better and faster. Number two, human agent teams, where AI agents take on specific tasks. And number three, human-led agent-operated processes, where humans set direction and agents execute. Let's get into it.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to cut through the clutter and give you the essential insights you need quickly and without feeling totally swamped.
That's right. You want the core knowledge, and today we're tackling the 2025 Work Trend Index annual report. It's a big one.
Yeah, think of this as your sort of executive summary, but with actual depth. We're focusing on this idea they introduced the frontier firm.
Exactly. And what that means for, basically everyone working today.
And the foundation for this is pretty solid, isn't it? We're talking massive survey.
Oh, yeah, 31,000 workers, 31 countries. Plus, they pulled in LinkedIn data, Microsoft 365 signals.
Real usage data,
Interviews with AI native startups, academics. They really covered the bases.
Okay, so what's the big headline takeaway from all that data?
The headline for 2025 is pretty clear. It's the birth, essentially, of this frontier firm.
Okay.
And it's powered by what they're calling intelligence on tap, basically readily available AI.
Intelligence on tap. I like that. So it's not just a minor update, it's fundamental.
It really seems to be, a fundamental shift in how organizations are going to run.
All right, let's dig into that frontier firm then. What exactly is it? Define it for us.
Well, at its core, it's a company that's, deeply woven AI into its operations. On-demand intelligence is key.
Okay.
They talk about human agent teams being central, and this introduces a whole new role or maybe mindset, the agent boss.
Agent boss. Okay, that definitely catches the ear. So what's the advantage? What can these frontier firms do?
The report points to really rapid scaling, much greater agility.
Faster.
And getting value out the door much, much faster than traditional setups.
And the prediction is this isn't niche, right?
Not at all. They're saying within 2 to 5 years, most organizations will be on this path.
Wow, 2 to 5 years. That's practically tomorrow in business terms.
It really is. And the numbers they share kind of back that up.
What do they find there?
Get this. 82% of leaders see 2025 itself as a pivotal year. Time to rethink strategy, operations, the whole 9 yards.
82%.
And even more telling, maybe, is that 81% expect AI agents to be, significantly integrated into their AI strategy in the next 12 to 18 months.
Okay, so we're not talking hypotheticals for 2030. This is happening now or very, very soon.
The momentum seems to be really building. You look at current deployment. 24% of leaders say they've got org-wide AI deployment happening now. Compare that to just 12% who are still only in pilot mode.
That's a big jump from just testing things out.
It signals a real shift, doesn't it? moving from dipping a toe in the water to actually swimming.
Absolutely. So the picture is clear. Rapid change is underway. Which brings us back to you, the listener.
Mm-hmm.
The big question is, how are you going to adapt? Because standing still, that doesn't sound like it's going to work.
Not really an option, it seems. And this intelligence on tap idea you mentioned, that's the fuel, right?
Yeah, exactly. Think of AI becoming like, well, electricity or the internet. It's just there, affordable, on demand.
The utility.
Utility, exactly.
Yeah.
And leaders seem ready to use it. That 82% figure, again, confident they'll use this digital labor to boost capacity soon.
And that confidence is probably born out of necessity, right? They talk about this capacity gap.
Ah, yes, the capacity gap. Tell us about that.
It's this growing disconnect. Business demands are soaring, but human capacity, well, it has limit.
We're only human after all.
Right. And then the demands just keep piling up.
And the report really puts numbers on that feeling of being stretched thin.
It does. 53% of leaders say productivity has to go up. But at the same time, 80% of the global workforce say they just don't have the time or energy for it all. That includes leaders and employees.
That's a massive mismatch. And they have data on just how fragmented our days are becoming, don't they?
Oh, it's kind of staggering. They clocked, on average, 275 interruptions per day.
275.
Per day. That's like, what, every 2 minutes during the workday?
How can anyone focus?
Exactly. And then you add 60% of meetings being ad hoc.
Just popping up.
Yeah, and that last-minute crunch. PowerPoint edits jumping 122% in the last 10 minutes before a presentation.
Been there.
We've all been there. And it's bleeding into personal time too, right? After-hours chats up 15%, late meetings up 16% year over year.
It just sounds exhausting. Relentless.
It is. And it leads to this feeling. Nearly half of employees, 48%, and even more leaders, 52%, describe their work as just chaotic, fragmented.
Overwhelmed seems like the word.
Definitely. Constant juggling, constant interruptions.
So this intelligence on tap, this AI, it's not just about doing the same stuff a bit faster. It's about changing how we work.
That's the core idea. The report suggests we're moving from, doing tasks to managing agents that do the tasks. It's a shift like the web or mobile eras. Our roles changed then. They're changing again now.
From doing to managing. Okay, so how does that actually happen?
Yeah.
The report mentioned phases, right?
Yeah, they outlined 3 broad phases on the journey to becoming a frontier firm, though it's not always strictly linear, they point out.
Right, makes sense. So phase 1.
Phase 1 is human with assistant. Think of AI as a personal tool. It helps you work better, faster, summarizing things, drafting emails, that kind of stuff.
Okay, that feels familiar. Like using Copilot or ChatGPT now.
Exactly. Phase 2 is where it gets more integrated. Human agent teams.
Human agent teams.
Yeah, here the agents are more like digital colleagues. They take on specific jobs. The example they used was a research agent putting together a whole go-to-market plan.
Wow, okay, so the human scales their impact by delegating bigger chunks of work.
Precisely. You focus on the more strategic, valuable parts.
And then phase 3.
Phase 3 is human-led, agent-operated. This is the most advanced stage.
Right.
Humans set the overall direction, the strategy, but agents run entire processes. Think supply chain logistics.
So the agents handle the day-to-day flow.
Yeah, with humans stepping in for exceptions, managing the overall system, handling the, strategic supplier relationships. Oversight and direction, basically.
But as you said, a company might be in different phases for different tasks all at once.
Absolutely. It's not a one-size-fits-all path. It'll be a mix.
And navigating this, it requires a new vocabulary almost. The report introduced a bunch of terms.
It did. We need new words for this new world of work, right?
Yeah. So agent itself, the AI doing the work. Agent boss, the human manager.
We talked about the capacity gap. Then there's digital labor. That's the on-demand AI workforce.
And the frontier firm, obviously.
Right. And they also talk about the human-agent ratio.
Finding the right balance.
Exactly. How many agents per human, essentially, for things to work smoothly, and intelligence resources.
That sounded interesting, like a new department.
Sort of, like a mix of IT and HR focused on managing all this digital labor.
And finally, the work chart.
Yeah, the potential replacement for the traditional org chart.
More project-based, outcome-focused.
Less about who reports to whom in a fixed function, more about assembling the right skills, human and AI, for the job at hand.
Okay, that makes sense. All this terminology really drives home the point. The old way of working is hitting a wall.
It really is. Human capacity is just stretched too thin. We can't focus on the high-value stuff.
Which is where these new workforce strategies come in. What are leaders prioritizing?
Well, top of the list, interestingly, is AI skilling for their current people. 47% are focused on.
Does your revenue team need to scale personalized outreach and on-brand content production? If so, have them take CogniScale's 10-minute AI opportunity survey and receive a free, customized report that pinpoints where they can learn to build no-code, no-integration AI assistants to augment their workflows and lift productivity by 300% or more. Use the findings to build a business case for AI upskilling that will drive deeper buyer engagement and accelerated pipeline. Visit cogniscale.info and see the link in the show notes.
That
Makes total sense. If we're all becoming agent bosses, we need the skills.
Right. And right behind that, 45% is bringing in that digital labor using agents to expand capacity.
Okay. But headcount reduction is also on the table for some.
It is. About a third of leaders, 33%, are considering that too. So it's a mix of upskilling, augmenting with AI, and yes, some potential workforce reshaping.
And this naturally leads to new types of jobs, right? AI-specific roles.
Definitely. 78% of leaders overall are thinking about hiring for these new roles.
And in frontier firms.
It jumps to 95%. They are definitely looking for AI talent.
What kind of roles are we talking about?
Things like AI trainers, AI data specialists, security specialists focusing on AI agent specialists, that sounds key, AI ROI analysts trying to quantify the value, even AI strategists embedded in marketing or finance.
Wow, okay. A whole new layer of specialization.
Yeah.
And the LinkedIn data backs this up, showing where the growth is.
Yeah, it's quite telling. The headcount growth in AI startups is booming like 20.6% year over year compared to big tech, which was more like 10.6%. Still growing, but the real explosion seems to be in these newer AI-focused companies.
That suggests a shift. Maybe innovation moving faster in those startups.
It certainly points that way. More opportunity, perhaps.
And how do employees feel inside these frontier firms? Is it different?
Dramatically different, according to the report. You see much higher levels of positive sentiment.
Like what?
Like 71% of workers in frontier firms say their company is thriving. Globally, that number's only 37%.
Huge difference.
Yeah. And they feel more able to take on work, 55% versus 20%. They're more optimistic about their future opportunities, 93% versus 77%.
But are they less worried about AI taking their jobs?
Significantly less worried. Only 21% fear job displacement, compared to 38% globally.
So embracing AI seems to actually reduce anxiety for the workforce, not increase it.
That's what this data suggests. When it's implemented thoughtfully, org-wide, people feel more empowered, more optimistic.
And there are real companies doing this already, achieving results.
Absolutely. The report is full of examples. You've got like a solo founder using AI to build a staffing firm projected to make $2 million.
Wow.
Dow Chemical expecting millions in savings from a supply chain agent. A startup called ICG boosting margins by 20% using AI for all sorts of things.
It's not just efficiency then. It's top line and bottom line impact.
Exactly. An entrepreneur running budgeting without a CFO, thanks to AI. Wells Fargo cutting query response time for bankers.
Across different industries, different functions.
Totally. Dow streamlining shipping. Bayer researchers saving hours each week. Estee Lauder consolidating consumer insights. Holland America Line using AI concierge. Accenture automating payment collections. Is broad.
Okay, these examples really make it concrete. Let's talk more about those human agent teams and this work chart idea. How does that actually change the org structure?
Right, the work chart. It's less about fixed boxes and lines, more dynamic. Think about organizing around goals or outcomes.
Okay.
You pull together the needed skills, human and AI, for a specific project. The report uses the analogy of making a movie.
Like a production crew comes together for film, then disbands.
Exactly that kind of model.
Man.
Fluid, project-based. And AI makes it possible because agents can provide instant expertise, research, analysis.
So teams can be leaner, faster.
Yeah, the example was super good. An AI-first ad agency. They have flatter teams because everyone can access strategic research via AI instantly. No need for layers of analysts just for that.
And this breaks down silos, too.
Apparently so. A Harvard study mentioned found AI helps R&D think more commercially, and business folks get more technical. It bridges gaps.
And leaders are already automating workflows with this.
Nearly half, 46%, are using agents to fully automate certain workflows, so it's not just theory.
But getting it right involves this human-agent ratio you mentioned.
Crucial point. You can't just throw agents at everything or have too few. It's about finding the sweet spot.
The right balance.
The right balance between agent efficiency and necessary human judgment, oversight, creativity. Dialing that ratio in is key. Too few agents, you're leaving potential on the table. Too many, humans get overwhelmed trying to manage them.
Makes sense. It's also interesting why employees sometimes prefer using AI over talking to a colleague.
Yeah, the report asked about that. The top reason, 24/7 availability. AI doesn't sleep.
Yeah.
Second was speed and quality. 30% felt AI was faster or better for certain tasks. And third, 28% was unlimited creative ideas. AI doesn't get tired of brainstorming.
What about avoiding, difficult colleagues?
That actually ranked lowest. Things like avoiding impatience or bias, people weren't primarily using AI for that.
So it's more about AI's capabilities than avoiding human flaws.
It seems so. More about enhancement, augmentation, rather than just replacement or avoidance.
And this requires us to think about AI differently too, right? Not just giving commands.
Big time. There's a split right now. About half, 52%, still see AI as a command-based tool. Do this.
Right.
But 46% are starting to see it as a thought partner. Someone you collaborate with, bounce ideas off of, iterate with.
That thought partner mindset feels like the future.
It seems essential for really leveraging these agents effectively.
And what skills do we need for that to work with a thought partner AI?
Things like iteration, knowing how to refine prompts and guide the AI. Delegation, being clear about what you want the agent to do.
Context is key, I imagine.
Huge. Providing the right context, the intent behind the request. Then critically evaluating the output, refining it.
And knowing when to say, no, that's not right.
Exactly. Critical reasoning, pushing back, redirecting the agent. It's a collaborative skill set.
Which brings us back full circle to the agent boss. This sounds like it's becoming everyone's job to some extent.
Increasingly, yes. Someone who builds delegates to, manages these agents.
And companies are already planning to hire for this.
Yeah, 28% of managers are thinking about hiring specific AI workforce managers, and 32% plan to hire AI agent specialists.
Soon, like next 12, 18 months.
That's the time frame they mentioned. And looking out 5 years, leaders expect their teams to be heavily involved in this stuff. Redesigning processes with AI, 38%. Building multi-agent systems, 42%. Training agents, 41%. Managing them, 36%. It's becoming core work.
And if you embrace this, potential for faster career growth.
The report definitely suggests that. Becoming proficient at managing agents could be a career accelerator.
They identified an agent boss mindset.
Right.
How are we doing on that?
Well, there's a gap. Leaders score higher than employees on basically all indicators.
That's just
Familiarity with agents, using them regularly, trusting them for important tasks, believing AI will speed up their careers. Leaders are ahead.
Why do you think that is?
Probably because leaders are the ones feeling the pressure now to figure out the AI strategy. They're being held accountable for it.
So they're forced to engage more deeply.
I think so. But it highlights the need to put everyone else along, right? Upskilling is critical.
Absolutely. Jobs are changing fast. AI literacy.
Yeah.
It's becoming table stakes.
For sure. LinkedIn called it the most in-demand skill for 2025.
Wow. But it's not just about AI skills, is it?
No, and that's important. The report emphasizes uniquely, human skills are also rising in importance. Things like conflict mitigation, adaptability, creative and innovative thinking.
Skills AI can't easily replicate.
Exactly. We need both. AI literacy and strong human skills to thrive in this new environment.
So the big picture, 2025 is the year the frontier firm really starts to emerge. Adaptation isn't optional anymore.
That seems to be the clear message.
Okay, so let's quickly sum up what we've covered in this deep dive. This report paints a vivid picture. AI is fundamentally changing work.
Yeah, it's not just tools anymore. It's driving the rise of this new model, the frontier firm.
Built on human-agent collaboration, which means pretty much all of us need to start thinking like an agent boss.
Developing those skills, that mindset, it's going to be crucial for navigating what's coming.
And the core question we keep coming back to for everyone listening is, how are you going to adapt?
What steps will you take?
And maybe one final thought to leave you with. If intelligence really is on tap, like a utility, what does that unlock beyond just efficiency?
Good question.
Forget just doing the same things faster. What completely new things become possible for your work, for your career, when you have that kind of cognitive power readily available? Think strategically, creatively about that.
A lot to ponder there.
Definitely. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.
So some interesting takeaways, with 82% of leaders viewing 2025 as a pivotal year for rethinking operations and 80% of workers lacking the time and energy to complete mounting workloads, coupled of course with increasing distractions. I think the question isn't if AI is going to reshape our organizations, but how quickly we are all going to adapt. So food for thought. I hope you found that interesting. And no doubt we'll be thinking what implications it will have on your own work and organization. Thanks for listening. We will be back next week to talk more about workforce transformation and the impact on jobs.